Russo Radio, Bradshaw and Bryant, KFAN text line 64686. Of course, we are your home for Minnesota Wild hockey. All the action and coverage live and local on the Fan tonight as soon as we wrap things up at 6:30. Russo, you guys had the quote that I found fascinating yesterday. I couldn't get past it. I became obsessed with it, and it was the Heinze quote in the wake of the Game 4 loss. I think the style of game that we needed to play to win the game, we made the conscious choice not to play that way tonight. And one of you said, conscious choice? And when did you notice that? And Heinze said, basically from the beginning. So we've heard coaches go after teams, try to motivate them, whatever. But can you translate this to me? Was he just cranky? Because it obviously doesn't seem logical that a team would consciously decide to forget about the mode of victory that was the strategy that helped them win the previous game. Like, nope, we're just going to do it a different way. But several of the players seem to confirm it. I'm confused.
Yeah, I mean, definitely Marcus Foligno confirmed it yesterday. The problem is the guys that he's talking about are the top guys on the team. Mm-hmm. And they're the ones that are going to have to decide if they want to play in what John Heinze's mind is the right way tonight or not. And the other way, what he's basically saying is that at that point they had played 4 games in the series. They had a certain way that they played that allowed them to win one game, and they reverted back to playing the other way that they played in Colorado for Game 4. And so they feel like there is a game plan there that shows them what they need to do to be successful to win this series or win a game in this series, and that certain guys just wanted to play East-West that game. And the problem is the guys that play East-West are the ones that sometimes make the most incredible plays to allow them to score goals. Yep. And the guys that play the direct way are the ones that have to play meat and potatoes hockey. But the reality is that you have a Colorado team here that if you get into a track meet with them or if you turn pucks over at either blue line, you're going to pay. And they paid last game. And I think what so frustrated guys in that locker room and John Heinze is the fact that even in a game where they just were not good at all, they wind up 2-2 somehow in the third period and then make 2 brutal mistakes that, by the way, had nothing to do with that. With that quote-unquote style. Those were just bad mistakes by a couple defensemen, and it cost them. And so, they've got to play a certain way tonight if they're going to want to win. So how would you're around these guys all the time, and I know it's fool's gold to attempt to analyze morale or vibes or what you pick up, but I'm going to ask you anyway, because a lot of times you have good instincts on this stuff. Do you sense that they're a little bit resigned at this point because of squandering that opportunity, or not so much? No, and you're right. I mean, it's not like we saw them a ton today. Yeah. They didn't have a lot of guys go on the ice. The locker room was quiet, but I wouldn't say that it was like, a bunch of guys freaking out. I mean, Zuccarello and Kaprizov were having a ball in their corner, and Wallstedt looked good and in a good headspace. And but yeah, I mean, it was a sort of business as usual game, and I think that Game 4 is going to be, if they lose this series, one of the most disappointing games that I can remember covering this team. And they'll remember that for a long, long time because it was such a squandered opportunity. And so their goal tonight is to, put the best possible game that they can on the ice in terms of effort level and mostly execution. And then let's see if that's enough to beat a wagon in Colorado. I think that they have proven in the past that they can win in this building and beat this team. But it's a hard game. I mean, there's a reason why this team has been as good as they have been all year long, and so they ruined that opportunity the other night, and now they put themselves in a really delicate, unenviable position. But it's just a matter of the old cliche: you just got to win one game and then worry about Game 6 after that. That's what we were talking about earlier. Are we talking basically about Kaprizov here? Well, I think Boldy, too. And it's Kaprizov and Zuccarello. Like, that line, the other night, they were turning pucks over left and right. That line hasn't been terrible in this series. Boldy is definitely in a funk. I mean, he misses Eriksson Ek. He's definitely not going to the trenches the way that he did in the Dallas series. But this is not just him missing Eriksson Ek. It seems a lot of times when Kaprizov and Boldy struggle, everybody always wants to do the old, well, yeah, but he's playing with Ryan Hartman. Yeah, he doesn't have Joel Eriksson Ek. Sometimes it's on them as well. There's a reason why they are the stars of the team. And Boldy right now on the power play the other night was just a power play killer. And it was mostly him with the egregious mistakes and almost stubbornly not being willing to just dump a puck. And, as I said to Nordo earlier today, dumping a puck is hard. Nobody wants to dump a puck because the whole goal in the National Hockey League is to have possession of the puck. And by definition, when you dump a puck, you're ceding possession of the puck to the other team, and then you're putting yourself in a position where you got to, quote, chase it and go get it. And it's hard. But sometimes when the other team is not allowing you into the zone and lining you up at the blue line, and you've just got to get back to the meat and potatoes aspect of just putting the puck in and going to get the puck. And so we'll see the way it goes tonight. Every game is a different entity. This series has certainly been, 4 very different looking games. Game 1 was a game where both teams were terrible defensively, but especially the Wild, and they didn't get good goaltending. Game 2 was a game where the Wild figured it out at 5-on-5, but was just terrific at special teams. Game 3 we talked about where the Wild really won decisively and dominated that game, and then Game 4 was the opposite. So we'll see what we get tonight from either team. But I definitely do think, look, as I kind of said to you yesterday in probably a very, not eloquent way, it's a double-edged sword with these when you rip into the skilled players of the team, because they're the ones that make the play. And by making plays, sometimes they have to freelance, sometimes they have to do stuff to be unpredictable. And they're not guys that you just want to always dump the puck. But I think the difference between last game and Game 3, especially from Kaprizov's standpoint, is Kaprizov kind of dragged the Wild into that fight the other game. It wasn't just the Folignos going out there and crushing bodies. It was Kirill just, playing in traffic, generating his offense the way that we've grown accustomed to seeing, the unbelievable 10-2 swiveling of the hips that he does. And last game we just didn't see it because him and Matt just wanted to play catch with each other. And Boldy, same thing. Their line just could never get possession of the puck, as the analytics showed.
651 guy asks you directly, do you think Boldy and Kaprizov's inconsistency in the second round is partly tied to the lack of support around them? Johansson has struggled to drive much. Hartman has looked way too casual with the puck at times. Do you think both Boldy and Kaprizov need another true line driver with them, or is this more on those two needing to elevate regardless of who they are playing with?
Well, I think that, it's kind of what I just said. I do think they have to elevate regardless because, they're not going to get, Robert Thomas in here magically for Game 5 here. Ryan Hartman is going to be their number 1 center. Their number 2 center tonight, it would not shock me, believe it or not, if it's Michael McCarron, because I don't think you can come back with Danilo Urov there the way that they were just absolutely hemorrhaged the other night. So, look, when you're with line mates, absolutely one line, it can't be just one player on a line. And Marcus Johansson, Anthony LaPanta will kill me, but we know he's not listening anyway. But Marcus Johansson just continues to prove, it's been his whole career, that he's not a playoff player. It's just always been that way. He'll get you his 40 points in the regular season, and then he just seems to disappear this time of year. From blue line to blue line, he's unbelievable. But sometimes, and I just think that it has, because they have lacked Eriksson Ek in this series, JoJo can't drive his own line, and Boldy is really struggling on how to really compensate right now. Hartman, look, he's piling up points in the playoffs. He's been okay there, but you're right. I mean, he's not your prototypical number 1 center. So they're going to have to do it. But to that, Texter's, point, and this is one thing that we're going to discuss here in the next couple of days if the Wild season does end tonight, is that what this series did show is that, look, Bill Guerin and the staff made a calculated effort at the deadline that they were not willing to give up huge assets for Vincent Trocheck, who seemed to be the only center available, and he wound up not being traded anyway, because they did not want to take themselves out of potential number 1 center moves this offseason. Well, okay, that's fine. I totally get that. But now I think what this series is showing is that against Colorado, though, They left themselves incredibly deficient in case of an injury, and that injury wound up being their one irreplaceable guy in Eriksson Ek. And now they're going into a must-win Game 5 with Michael McCarron, who is a prototypical fourth-line center, most likely on your second line. So what that's telling me is that it can't just be play-driving wingers. Because a lot of the times, Bill Guerin and his staff believe that because you have Kirill and Matt Boldy in today's day and age, that you don't need that top center. I think this is showing, especially against Colorado, and these guys are going nowhere. McKinnon's going nowhere. Brock's going nowhere. Their third-line center and fourth-line centers have been really, really good, whether Kadri stays or not. I think that you're going to always, in this stupid playoff format that the league has, you're always going to have to play one of Dallas or Colorado in the first and second rounds, and you've got to get better up the middle because they're always an Eriksson Ek injury away from disaster. It's been that way for years, and it's proven that way again. So again, I get why Bill didn't make that big move for a top six center this trade deadline, but I think what this is showing me is that Jesper Wallstedt is not safe this summer because he's the guy that's going to be able to get them that. This series has shown me that they've got to go out and figure out a way to get whether it's an Austin Matthews or Robert Thomas or Dylan Larkin or whomever, somebody better than what they have now.
You reported several hours ago that Eriksson Ek did skate today in Minnesota. So what does that mean?
I mean, it means he's skating unless he's going to miraculously show up here after a commercial flight and roll in here on a wheelchair. I think he's not playing tonight. I mean, who knows? I will say it is funny because Joe Smith and I showed up here early to just kind of keep our eyes open just in case. But look, what does it mean? He's hurt. I don't care how he felt today, even if he somehow could play Game 6. What's that mean for the rest of the playoffs, even if they were luckily, able to somehow reel off 3 straight wins? He's dealing with a significant injury that is absolutely inhibiting whenever we see him walking off the ice. It's painful to watch. And so, even if he comes in and somehow saves the season in Game 6, does that even mean he could play Game 7? I don't know. He is an injury that he probably shouldn't even be trying to skate on. And I just think it's also the type of injury, it's never just going to get better while he's doing that. So, they're in a real rough spot with him, and it's just such a shame the way that happened because, look, we obviously know about the history of Bull Rodine and Eriksson Ek injuries, but usually it's blocking a shot or,
right,
getting locked on legs or something like that with an opponent. I mean, this was him. I mean, I watched the replay again. He didn't even hit a rut on the ice. He just wiped out. And this is one of their biggest horse of the skaters on the team. And it's just such an unbelievable shame that you go into a series like this without the two of them because they obviously, it's not just the lack of where they are in the lineup, it's the trickle-down effect of everything from situational hockey. Just the irony of just look the other night. Janela Yurov is centering the second line, and he is out-attempted in the game at 5-on-5 at 21-0. Well, we know that's Eriksson Ek's line. Look at the 2 goals the Wild gave up in the third period the other day. They're both from left-shot defensemen, Jake Middleton turnover and Damon Hunt turnover. That's them being in positions that Damon Hunt wouldn't even be in the series, and Jake Middleton probably wouldn't be on the ice. So it's just it's just not that I'm saying that they would beat Colorado with those two, but it almost feels like it didn't put them in a position to even have the chance coming into the series.
What's the one possible injury-related lineup change that we're not going to know about till
I think it's Bogosian. It's
okay.
So clear Petrie was playing today by watching him in the locker room, so he just didn't want to say it. I think gamesmanship in the playoffs. But Bogosian's been dealing with high ankle sprains and broken bones all year long, and he had another spill the other night where in the first period where he had to go down the tunnel with barely putting weight on it. So it's got to be him. So I think Jeff Petrie's probably the lineup change they're talking about tonight.
Now, who starts in net for the Lance tonight?
McBlackwood was first off the ice, so he was good the other night, and that was the biggest shame. This is why I was critical of the Wild's decision to go with Gustafsson in Game 2, because if you were going to do that, you should have thrown him into Game 1.
Right.
And that's what Jared Bednar did in Game 3. He got McKenzie a bunch of work. He was great. The only goal he gave up just bounced in off Faber on a save that he made. And then last game, the Wild, it's his first start in 27 days, and the Wild don't shoot a puck on him in 19 minutes. Not a way to handle a new goaltender coming in. So
651 guy writes, is it possible that Colorado just made good adjustments. It sometimes sounds like analysts think this is all the Wild is good or they stink. Can we give the Avalanche at least some credit for forcing us into turnovers?
Absolutely. Look, this is a well-coached team. And a team that obviously has a lot of experience on their roster, and clearly they made adjustments the other night. We knew that the Avalanche would be at a higher level than Game 3. The Wild didn't match that, and certainly weren't able to adjust to some of the things that they were doing that were causing these issues. But that's why, again, the other night when you see that going on, sometimes you just got to get pucks deep and do it old school. And I know, in today's, as Marcus Foligno said yesterday, and he's absolutely right, analytically, the Florida Panthers the last 2 years won 2 Stanley Cups, and they dumped the puck more than anybody in the league. So I think the Wild just need to be smart tonight and put a beating on some of their defensemen and hope that the template that they put out on the ice in Game 3 is what gets them home for Game 6.
808 guy writes that the NHL Network reported today that the Wild power play is the worst in the playoffs since they started tracking the stat in 1977-78. Is that true?
Penalty kill.
Oh, he said penalty kill. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So it is that it's that historic.
So if it's what I'm thinking about, it's what we reported the other day is that since 77-78 when they started tracking it, for second round opponents, the Wild have the worst penalty kill that's ever gone past. Going into Game 3, it was 12th worst all time, but for teams that were in the second round, it was worst all time. I don't think that's power play. I think that's penalty kill, but I'll double check it the second I'm off.
Is there any reason to hope from the Wild fan standpoint that Colorado might, ease up a little bit, or do they have too much killer instinct for that?
Well, look, this, and again, totally different teams, right? But they haven't won a playoff series at home since 2008, since they beat the defunct Northwest Division Minnesota Wild champions that year. They won that game in 6 games, and it was Sakic and Forsberg and Hayduk and Drury and all those type of guys. And so they haven't, it's 17 series in a row that they haven't closed out a series on home ice, 7 or 8 wins in a row. That they've all closed them out on the road, so obviously that's part of it. But the Wild want to go back to Minnesota. They have to go back to Minnesota, and Colorado doesn't want to get on a plane. Colorado also knows, that, or maybe they don't know. I know that the Western Conference Final starts next Wednesday. So my guess is that they also know that they can get some much needed rest here if they end the series tonight, and get some of these banged up bodies like Lehkonen and Malinsky maybe back. So I just think that they are going to come out and try to put their best game on the ice tonight, and the Wild's going to match that and be even better.
Refresh my memory. We were talking about this earlier. Did we not trail Vegas 3-1 and then won the next 2 games to get it to 7, and then we couldn't finish the job? Is that correct?
Yeah, and that actually felt a lot worse because Wild were devastated by injury, if I remember correctly. And in fact, I can't remember who made their NHL debut in that playoffs. Might have even been like Kalen Addison or something. But it was worse because they actually split in Vegas, came home and lost games 3 and 4. At least the Wild got a split this time at home. And then went there on the road, and I remember absolutely, I joke with this actually with Craig Leopold and some of his friends to this day. I wrote the most scathing column I probably ever wrote about this organization after Game 4, and they were joking with me before Game 7, like, how scared are you right now? Like, I'm like, I'm a little nervous, like, kind of worried about you're going to win this game. I'm going to look like an idiot and burn that thing off the internet. But I turned out to be right just 3 games late. But yeah, they did. They won games 5 in Vegas, and then won game 6 at home, and then forced to game 7. They were trounced in that game. I think it was Davidov. I can't remember who. Somebody had a hat trick that game. But if the other thing that happened that game, shocker, but 5 minutes into the game, Jonas Brodin was lost for the game, and that put them in a real tough spot. But yeah, so they've done it before, and obviously we all know the history of the Wild are the only franchise in NHL history that's rallied back from 2-3-1 deficits to win. But that was 23 years ago. A very different Colorado team. Was in this building at least. Yep. Ended Patrick Waugh's career. Andrew Brunette. So that was so that's happened in this building. So that they have maybe some good omens.
General Sornes checks in with this historical note for you. Today marks the 15th anniversary of the passing of a former Minnesota Wild player, Derek Boogaard. I cannot believe, he writes, it's been 15 years already. Does Russo have any favorite memories of the boogeyman that he would care to share?
Yeah, I wrote 5 years ago. I did a story with his family, actually. I think the 10th anniversary. It's crazy that's been since long since I did that story where I talked to all the brothers. I mean, I have so many memories from that night. My condo actually across the river on the northeast side of the Mississippi River at the time overlooked his condo at Heritage Landing, and I actually saw all the police officers and all that from afar. Boogaard was like a big teddy bear. I mean, I've said it many, many times. I mean, he and I were extremely tight. I actually talked to him the day that he died because he had just gotten back from L.A. I didn't know he had gotten back from rehab that day, but he had checked in with me, told me his brother Ryan was coming to town, and we were actually going to get together in those next couple days. I used to always I remember hanging out at his stall a lot in the locker room with my I wrote an inordinate amount of Derek Boogaard-led notebooks because I would just have my notebook in my back pocket, and invariably at some point he would say something absolutely hilarious with Nick Baxter, and I'd pull it out and be like, can I write that? And, one of the kindest things that he ever did, I still remember to this day, a friend of mine's had passed away, and they were having like a Halloween party, and Derek was going to show up there, and because the kids were doing like a boogeyman pumpkin, and he was going to show up and surprise them and things like that. He was just the nicest guy. It's such a tragic ending to somebody's life. I still keep in touch somewhat with his mom Joanne, and his brother Ryan is such a great guy, and obviously Dad Lenny. So it's a brutal day in Minnesota Wild lore, and he wasn't even a Wild player at that time.
Right.
Or they traded him or he signed with the Rangers as a UFA.
One more question about this series.
The other Derek Boogaard thing I'll never forget, too, is he had the day that Doug Risebrough was fired, or maybe a couple days later, Doug was doing an availability at Tom Reed's Hockey City Pub, and Derek had just undergone shoulder surgery. And all of a sudden, this car pulls up as I'm leaving Tom Reed's, and I look, and it's Boogaard with his right arm outside the window because he couldn't, it was basically, that was the only way that he was able to comfortably have his arm. And he just asked me, he goes, is Reiser still in there? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, can you go get him for me? This was back in 2009. And I'm like, yeah. And I go in there. I'm like, Doug, you're not going to believe it. Boogie's outside, wants to see you. He goes, what? He had surgery today. I'm like, I know. He's still like under anesthesia, but he wanted to thank you. And all of a sudden Boogie came out, Reiser came out of the Tom Reed's, and Boogaard and him had I thought that just showed his class. If this guy comes out of surgery and wants to go right to Tom Reed's to say thank you to Doug Risebrough.
One last question about the series and the potential aftermath. Pretty explosive. This is from 651 guy. Russo, do you think Hines is being outcoached in this series, and if the Wild lose, does his seat get at all warm, especially with some big-name coaches potentially available and this roster becoming pretty attractive?
I can't imagine. I mean, like the second that Eric Snack and Brodin weren't in the series, that bought him time, even if he was, I think that's the excuse right there. I mean, Bill Guerin's not stupid and realizes what they're lacking in this series. I know that sounds like an excuse, but look, this is the, first time since 2015 that the Wild got past the first round. They had a really, really good year. He's been a good coach for this team. They're playing without two unbelievably huge guys. Michael McCarron might be their second line center tonight. If you're getting fired after that, somebody else should be fired with it. So with them, like, come on, again, anything's possible. But I'd just be shocked. In fact, I think that an extension is probably coming for him. That was what we were hearing even before the playoffs began. So,
have a good write tonight. We'll read you later tonight and tomorrow, and we'll talk soon. Thank you.
All right, see ya. Take care.
Russo Radio, live from Denver, Colorado. The action, of course, can be heard, all of it, starting with the pregame show, I'm assuming, at 6:30. As soon as we're done, I believe that will start. If it doesn't, it should. Opening faceoff just past 7 o'clock tonight, and something's got to give because Minnesota Wild cannot lose tonight. If they win tonight, Game 6 would be Friday.
Yes.
Game 6 Wolves Friday.
Yes.
So you could have A hell of a night if then both teams extend to 7. I'm assuming Sunday in both cases. On the other hand, both teams could be eliminated Friday. The whole thing could come to a screeching halt Friday night, same night as well.
Yeah.
So there's a lot at stake here the rest of the way.
The playoffs are a fun ride. They're exhilarating. They're like a drug. But the crash, when it crashes and the music stops,
it can be harsh.
It can be abrupt.
No question. Speaking of abrupt, who's more abrupt than the Cheech and Chong
the farm boy.
Bumper to Bumper show? The farm boy, yeah. Well, he's got some farm boy in him. He's got some Cheech and Chong in him as well. It's Special K, Pat Kessler. He is coming up next here in the Fan.
Bumper to Bumper with Dan Barrero on the Fan.
From the 1-800-ASK-GARY Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by...
At the views of the people in Congress and find out, are they pro-America or anti-America?
Pat Kessler.
Because people have got to know whether or not their president's a crook. Well, I'm not a crook.
I can't trust Obama. He's an Arab.
Pat Kessler.
Tear down this wall.
I did nothing wrong at the Minneapolis airport.
Senator, you're no Jack Kennedy.
Pat Kessler. And now, to help Dan break down all the tough questions in politics, it's our own Pat Kessler Political Walk.
I feel like a supermodel, except like times 10.
It's Channel 4's Pat Kessler with Dan Barrero on the Fan.
Where did all the other Kessler laughs go? We're down to 2 Kessler laughs, or is it a whole other page
that's all
that
I
don't know about?
That's all I have.
That's been 2 for a while.
Really? Huh. I thought we had a lot more.
I could re-record all of them. No, that's our guy Paul Majors.
That might be the best. That's a hell of a laugh.
That's Paul Majors.
That's Paul Majors.
It's a hearty laugh.
It's a very hearty laugh.
I got a good laugh. I got a laugh.
Then I sprayed mace in his face.
Oh, no, that's not a laugh. I thought, here. That sounds like, that's a creepy laugh. Your laughs are creepy.
I do. I have a creepy laugh. But I laugh loudly and often.
You do?
I do.
You know.
Yeah, there's...
Remember this one?
All right. Love you.
Paul Majors.
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
That's interesting. That was Prince Day, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah.
Yes.
Prince occasion.
Yes, it was.
And Paul Major said, "I love you."
He did.
Yeah.
And I got emotional.
Yeah,
about
I know.
Are you kidding?
It's very sweet.
But I thought we had a lot. I guess it's the Power Trip that has most of your.
Why? I don't. I do not get this. I don't get this.
Here we go.
What are we doing?
Yeah, boy.
Why do we have to do this?
That's you?
Yeah, that's me. That's after the Mayo Bowl, correct? Garci?
Yes.
Quiet.
When Flava Flav dumped mayonnaise on PJ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sayonara, suckers! Oh, I love that one.
All of these were put up by Brett Blakemore. These are some of Brett's favorite Kessys.
Okay, so took over the line, sweet Jesus. What do we call them Kessy-isms?
We do.
I was at a strip joint yesterday.
That's an original. I put that one up there.
I want to see the package.
Also original.
And I've actually been touched by the Dalai Lama.
That might be my favorite one.
All of these are great stories and all true.
Who would have thunk that?
They're all true.
They're apocryphal.
They're not apocryphal.
You were never touched by the Dalai Lama.
You have no idea. Yes, I was.
He clapped his hands.
I'd have called Human Resources myself.
Not only was I touched by the Dalai Lama, who grabbed both of my one hand in both of his, when I walked away down the hall at the state capitol, people followed me.
And did he say this?
Yeah, boy.
Is that the Dalai Lama?
He had a good sense of humor.
Yeah, well, that's what I've heard.
Has a good sense of humor. People followed me down the hallway. You know why?
Why?
To touch my hand.
I believe it.
I'm serious.
I do believe it.
I mean,
you don't want to be too small, if you know what I mean.
It was fantastic. All of these have a story behind them. And I
twist it in kind of a Harry Potter way.
I'm not saying
wear pants, not wear pants.
that I want it to be all about me, but we could do a show just on all of this stuff and where they come from and your own. And
you go to the state fair and you get to sit on those things.
What is that one? Give me some context on that one.
What's that story?
I'm not. I didn't. I thought we were off air.
Oh.
So you're just like.
I'm
very embarrassed.
What was the strip joint one? What was the context there?
I was actually covering a story about voting and voter fraud.
Oh.
and a strip joint owner in southern Minnesota, just south of the Twin Cities, tried to get all the strippers to vote in the city election so that...
Well, didn't they have a right to vote?
Not if you don't live there, you don't.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And so he wanted to
like
change
what Trump
the law,
said, voter fraud.
make it a little easier for strip joints in the town. So I went in there to try to talk to strippers, try to talk to the... Yeah, it didn't end well. That's all I'm going to say.
What are you saying?
Well, I went in there with a camera to talk to
are they mad
strippers.
At you?
Yes. Yes.
Well, you of all people know you can't bring a camera into a strip joint.
Well, I didn't really, but I went in there myself with the camera outside. This is one of
And what did they say to you?
We're not going to talk to you. No comment.
Did they demand that you leave?
Yes, absolutely.
And what did you say? You said, I'm a member of the press.
No, I said I'm a member of the club.
What was the name?
I'm a member of the club.
Do you remember the name of the strip club?
I'll look it up in a break. But yeah,
it wasn't Buns and Roses, was it?
No, it wasn't. It was outside the Twin Cities.
Outside the Twin Cities. I should have known. Yeah.
So it was very nice. You know, all I'm doing, I'm just trying to do my job.
Yeah, that's all you try to do.
So
no one can blame you.
So one of the things you do, and some of this is fake, I'm sorry to tell you, when you knock on a door, you leave the camera outside the door, and then you knock on the door. Why won't you let me in?
That's the 60 Minutes way.
Yeah, I did that many, many times when the camera is recording me do that. So it's very performative. But yeah, you know, it was a great life.
At least you're honest about it.
It was a great life.
Yeah, you need that visual, that shot of it. You do. Mr. So-and-so.
And it's not like a little knock, like...
No, it's got to be emphatic, right?
It's got to be with open hand.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And then what happens when they open? They sometimes open the door.
Yeah, they do.
And you got to have your cameraman ready because you want that shot.
Well, the camera's rolling the minute you get out of the car and walk up.
You want that furtive look.
Yeah, whenever
like the look of desperation and frustration. The voice of the
door in your face.
Yeah. Oh, they slam it.
Absolutely.
And you go, sir, please, can you give us a minute?
No, I wouldn't say that. I'd say, why won't you talk to me?
Is it called Jake's in Coates, Minnesota?
That's it.
Is that it?
That's absolutely.
We have a lot of
one of my fellow strip club
also members of the club.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Well, others are saying there was a place called Fat Jack's.
Yeah,
that wasn't it.
I don't remember that.
Not that time.
Was that a different story?
Yeah. Different camera.
See how many other names we get.
How many strip clubs are there?
How about
gentlemen?
Peelers?
No, wasn't that.
Peelers?
Where's that?
It's a great name for a strip club.
Is it
Peelers? That's tremendous.
Is that spelled P-O-E?
No.
H-L.
P-E-E-L-E-R-S.
Phonetically.
Yeah.
So I don't know many of them. There must be many outside the Twin Cities.
Well, it sounds like it's not open anymore.
No, it's not. No, had a lot of trouble.
Because Dry Heat guy says, bring back Jake's. We used to go there as a rite of passage on our 18th birthday.
Yeah, so didn't you do that, Guardsy, on your 18th birthday?
Did
you get a tattoo?
No, what did I say was my rite of passage? Going to Sex World.
Oh, that's Sex World.
What is that?
Going to Sex World was like
a rite of passage.
The rite of passage when you were 18. I was there one time. I was probably 18 and a day.
That's not a rite of passage.
It was. I got a lot of confirmation from my friends that night.
Who are you to judge? Well, what do you think the rite of passage should have been?
Get a tattoo.
Oh, yeah.
We considered that.
Mm-hmm.
But you
buy a lottery ticket.
How about a body piercing?
Ooh.
You could do that too as a rite of passage. What's the age on
18?
It is 18.
18.
Yeah.
I mean, the rite of passage, we'd go to Mystic, you'd lose, $20 on blackjack.
Yeah. And I know that because one of my children got a body piercing.
Really?
At 16.
Were you bitter?
Oh, I was
16.
mad.
Were you livid?
Oh, I was furious.
Is that right?
And I was furious with the shop that did it.
That did it.
Yeah.
Did you call them and give them a piece of your mind?
Absolutely.
And what did they say?
They said, well, you're not a very good dad then if you stop.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah. So
did you demand the piercing be reversed?
You don't want a child to go back into a place where they're not allowed in the first place.
I gotcha. Yeah.
So no, I mean, there's lots of rites of passages. Did not know a strip club was. Did not know that. Did not know that Sex World is. So
there's not that many things you can do when you're 18. But
when you're 17, when you're 17 and then turn 18.
Right, that's it. There's a line of we're old enough to do some things, not everything, so let's go do the things that we're old enough to do now.
Yeah, and I think that does make sense. I was at a place today at an establishment where
Peelers.
Okay, we got to know where that is. We got to know where that is. And what is it that you peel?
What would be considered in the history of the state of Minnesota?
Yes.
What would be considered some of the most iconic, historic strip clubs?
Well, it's got to be Buns and Roses.
Well, but it's maybe.
I don't know, man.
Would that be the most popular?
And can you go when you have to be 21 to go into that?
I honestly don't remember.
Yeah. So I was at a place today where the young woman at the counter was going to turn 21 this weekend. Mm-hmm. And another person asked her, well, what are you going to do? She says, my mother is going to take me drinking.
B-double-E-double-R-U-N, beer run.
It's not that my mother is going to take me for a drink. She's going to take me drinking. And so there was a lot of disapproval.
A lot of murmurs of disapproval. Were there? Yeah.
Were you at church?
Undercurrent.
I was in a waiting room. I was in a waiting room of an establishment. Yeah,
a lot of unease.
Yeah, people said, well, that's not good, Well, although I took my son to O'Gara's when he turned 21.
Oh, O'Gara's, what a great spot.
Yeah, that's a good spot.
Yeah, what a great spot, O'Gara's.
And bought him a beer, and right on cue, the dude carded him, and we were very proud.
Have you ever been to Tuna's in Eveleth?
I don't know if
That's also being described as a legendary.
Don't like that name.
Oh, well, I'm just saying.
This is great.
Well, I mean, you can't plan this.
No, exactly.
How old is that?
It does. The 612 guy let us know.
Okay, let us know.
He or she calls it legendary.
Or it might be, for
Eveleth.
For all the miners. You come out of the mine.
Yeah, the miners. Not the miners as in age-wise. You mean
not under 18.
Literally the mining work.
Yes, the iron ore miners.
I hate to ruin the momentum, but we do have to pause.
Yeah, we're a little bit behind.
Why?
Because we had to go along with Russo.
Keep sending your strip club names in.
Yes, and I want to know where Peelers is. Okay, yes.
All right, we'll find out.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's a lot of votes for Jake. You said Jake's is the right name.
I did. That's it.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them.
That's it.
A lot of people apparently been there. 64686, legendary, exotic, dancer, but I guess strip. Might as well just
as Louis called it the one time, dancing bar.
Dancing bar. Yeah. That's it. Keep them coming, and then we'll get to some A section material as well.
The Wild must win in Denver tonight in Game 5 to extend their series with the Avs. Puck drops shortly.
Strip club history is pouring into the Bradshaw and KFAN.
I had no idea.
My phone as well.
64686. There might be a Lou Goose book in this. If he wants to do kind of a different kind of a book.
Yep.
Kind of a retrospective.
I could be his researcher.
You could very well be his researcher.
Why does there have to be a rite of passage?
There doesn't.
I don't remember.
I didn't have one either. Guards,
because you were doing it at 14 on the farm, and some of us folled the rules. Your kids are getting piercings at 16. Like we waited.
Let's just say I understood the reproductive process on the farm.
There used to be a place in Des Moines called the Lumber Yard. Des Moines, Iowa.
There's a place in Cedar Rapids called the Dancers Ranch that Mike Grimm lived across from.
Oh.
And he's got an all-time story about a family member in the Dancers Ranch that he'll have to tell sometime. But it's too good.
That's tantalizing.
Dancers Ranch.
Dancers Ranch.
Okay, yeah, those are some of these names are pretty good.
How about Dangerous Curves in Boyd, Minnesota?
And
Dangerous population 141.
Truer words have never been spoken.
Dancer votes could change that town's voting race.
It's true.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what they tried to do in Coates. Get all the dancers to become
swing the
citizens, to have a local address.
Can't make that up.
So they could relax all of the.
I'm sure you volunteered for that story.
Yeah.
Sugars in Hager City, Wisconsin,
near the Dells.
That's right near the Dells.
Here's another vote for the Lumber Yard.
God, what a great name.
I'm not going to repeat this name because I'm worried about it. I can't. I'm not going to do it, even if it exists.
I got a text from somebody on Tunas.
Yes.
It said, Tunas at 17 for me. Walk upstairs, they dance to a boombox. We got scared and ran out.
This sounds like a Coen Brothers movie.
It could be.
That's what this sounds like.
Casey's in South St. Paul. To get around the law, the women performed in the adjacent building. I've been at this place with a glass wall between the women and the customers, out-of-the-box thinking.
Very creative.
The wall had slots where customers could then give tips.
Very creative.
Seats along the wall for the paying customers.
It's a different building.
Seats, different building. You can't, what can you do?
It's not connected, like the East Wing to the White House.
If we harnessed our powers for good. I mean, just the creativity, the things that people come up with for this kind of stuff.
Lookers in Carlos.
That's a good
Where's
one.
Carlos, Minnesota?
I have not been there, but I've heard of it.
Lookers.
That's a good name.
And it is a good nickname, or good name, I guess I should say. Me and a buddy of mine skipped out of school back in the mid-'70s to go to the bullpen in Hopkins. The bullpen.
The bullpen?
The bullpen.
Well, what is...
in Hopkins.
Well, think about it. Let's just think about it for a minute. Why is it called the bullpen?
Must have been by the community baseball fields.
Well, yes. Why is Bull Durham called bull? I mean, this is a bull.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking here.
The Gladiator in Gilbert.
Yeah, I got that one from the same source.
Pretty good.
He might be a part of your book, Kessy.
Bricklayer guy liking the reference to tunas writes, LOL, legendary.
Carlos is just north of Alexandria, by the way.
Yes, it is. Okay.
Yes. Yep.
And
And some of these are legend and no longer operating, but some are still in the mix.
612 guy, this is from School Chef Guy. School Chef Guy. No minors in the strip club. Me at 17. I'm not a minor, dumbass. You see a shovel in my hand?
Oh, good one.
Yeah, I don't know if it got him in.
Good one.
A lot of Gladiator votes in Gilbert. Still, I'm assuming a lot of these are closed now.
We don't know. We just don't know.
In 1980, I worked at the pain reliever in East St.
That's one. That's one. I remember,
You remember
that
the pain
one.
reliever?
I do remember it. I absolutely remember it. That's a great one.
Sauce just texted me his buddy had his bachelor party at Tunis.
At Tunis.
Yeah, nice spot.
Mettler's, big in Mankato. We've talked about Mettler's over the years.
Yeah.
For sure. Mankato, Vikings players might frequent that place from time to time.
I have a tough Mettler's memory where I had to literally, basically ghost a sales guy in Mankato because he was adamant we were going to Mettler's.
Really?
After a Minnesota State and Gopher hockey game. He's like, we're going to Mettler's. I'm like, I'm not
going to go to Mettler's.
I'm not going to Mettler's.
You were rising above
it. I'm not going to Mettler's. And I will always remember that.
The Loch Ness Lounge in Somerset, Wisconsin. Anybody heard of that one? The Loch Ness
I have not. That's
Lounge.
Very evocative, however.
Club Saratoga in Canal Park in Duluth.
That's a big
elegant.
one.
That is a big one.
That's a big one.
That sounds elegant.
At the PA and Dubé days, we talked about that one a lot.
The Gladiator in Gilbert, this is Chris and Hopkins writing that dancers have to pay for their own songs and clear tables in between dances.
Oh, man. What a tough life.
That's got to be tough.
That's a tough life.
How about, where is Hertel, Wisconsin? Hertl?
Hertel?
Yes.
That is near the Dells.
Misty Pines.
She was the dancer.
Dancer.
Performing tonight, Misty Pines.
God.
That one I'm not reading.
What have we become?
It's just even I have standards.
They're low, but you have them.
KOD in Invergrove Heights.
King of Diamonds.
King of Diamonds. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's a famous one.
Yep.
Well, now, in the movie Fargo, was King of Diamonds was that a gentleman's club in the movie Fargo?
Oh, yeah, that's right. That might have... No, I don't think it was called that, but I know there was a... Yeah,
okay, we'll have our listeners...
were arranged. They had an arrangement
on that.
Yeah.
Quick reminder, Wild Game 5 is tonight right here on the Fan, and the Wolves continue their playoff run on Friday night, a pivotal Game 6. Go ahead.
This is...
Yeah, so I'm glad I came in today.
Me too. Peelers, for the record.
Really important.
Peelers is in Cannon Falls, Minnesota, you were asking.
Oh, Cannon Falls.
How about the Lamplighter?
That's a familiar sounding one. Would that be in St. Paul?
I don't know.
St. Paul?
It doesn't say.
All right.
Did we talk about Lookers, Carlos, Minnesota, near Alexandria?
Yes.
So Peelers, you just told me, and I've already forgotten.
I just said it, didn't I? Well, what did I say? Now I got to scroll back.
I don't freaking know.
Cannon Falls. Peelers is in Cannon. I wonder how many of these places
city.
Still exist.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean,
that's what I'm
Cannon Falls,
curious.
beautiful city. Best meal I ever had was in Cannon Falls.
Fat Jack's is in Bach, Minnesota. Fat Jack's. Bach, B-O-C-K.
These are great names.
They're all
great towns.
Names.
I think Pain Reliever has moved up.
That's pretty good. Yeah. Loch Ness in Somerset, Wisconsin. Did we name that?
We named Loch Ness.
We did name Loch Ness. Mettler's has indeed been.
So I don't
named.
know why. You know, many cities.
The old Red Velvet in
Don't remember that.
Brainerd, Minnesota. That was the club that Fargo made famous, the texter says.
Oh.
The old Red Velvet.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
you for that.
How about Phipps in Hayward?
Yeah, Brainerd.
Do we have the most strip clubs per capita?
It seems.
Is it like this in the South?
And figure that out.
Or California?
Skyway Lounge was iconic, right? That was on Hennepin, right?
Well, is that what it was? Because it was a movie theater for a time, too, right?
Yeah, but it was. Well, it was right next to it.
Oh.
Basically, it was on the other side of the hall. As I recall it, Skyway Lounge.
Tweeter remembers getting kicked out of the Pirates Cove in Aberdeen, South Dakota.
Really?
Pirates Cove.
So the Red Velvet in Brainerd, where Sheriff Marge Gunderson then would say,
yes,
gotta go. Gotta go. I got some malfeasance up in Brainerd.
We're late. Can we get to some news when we come back? Although I do have one other.
That's why I'm here.
I know, but this is fun too.
Oh.
Dibbo's in Hudson. Dibbo's, D-I-B-B-O-S.
I kind of remember that. I remember that name.
You do?
I do. I wonder if underage could get in
all
there.
Of them.
With an attached liquor store.
Jake's Bar and Thrill.
That's a good one.
That's a great name.
Bar and Thrill.
That's a good name. I see what you did there.
Yeah. That's all. They're a good they're coming in. Cross section. They're coming in. I got one Minnesota question for you, and then we'll get to a couple of the scandals that you have on your list to discuss, and maybe even we're going to maybe have somebody in charge to try to deal with the fraud. And the question is, will it get voted in? And secondly, will it have any impact? We'll get to that and more as we continue with Kessler, and then we're going to need your prediction on tonight's Wild Avalanche game, and then that's game 5, and then the Wolves game 6 hosting the San Antonio Spurs. Both teams now can't lose anymore, right? The Wild need to win 3 in a row. The Wolves need to win 2, right? We're down 3 games to 2. We'll get those predictions in as well.
You're listening to Barrero on the Fan
from the 1-800 Ask Gary Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored.
Blois Olson?
Friend of the show, Blois Olson, known him for many years, good guy.
All right, did you see his tweet from 9 hours ago? Adults living in their birth state. And there are, it looks to me like about 1, 2, maybe 3, 4, 5, maybe about 8 states in which the concentration of adults living in their birth state, all kind of in the middle of the country, although a couple in the South, is between 60 and 74%. 60 and 74%. And guess what?
That is a great stat.
We're one of them. Which proves my theory that we're too inbred. We need more people from more places to mix it up.
Dare I say, we need more immigrants in the state of Minnesota?
Sure, you could say that too.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to say, but they can even be from other states. But that, I mean,
so the inflow and the outflow, it's a fascinating
People never leave here. Guardsies never. Are you going to leave here ever, you think? You think it's still possible you could leave here?
I think it's still possible.
Yeah.
Much more difficult now.
Yeah, it's more complicated.
But it's possible.
Because you love Minnesota more.
It's been a great life.
Yeah, it's been a great life.
What a great state.
Great state. You think I'm making that up? It's absolutely true. Now, here's the deal.
Yeah.
So it's a fascinating topic. I did not see that, and I'm going to go back and look at it later, that Blois is bringing up all of these, this stat. Because it has everything to do of who we are, where we live, how we're going to go forward, what our past is like, what we're going to do in the future. People are born every day. People die every day. We have voters that are on the rolls, that are off the rolls. What are the things we do in the state of Minnesota to get people to come here? Some people will leave because they say taxes are too high. Other people come here because they say we have great services. Lots of fodder in here when you look at the demographics of the state of Minnesota. I think it's fascinating.
Yeah, it is. It's probably, we should
I
pick
had never
another
heard
time.
that. I had never heard that stat before, and that makes sense.
I'm not surprised,
Right.
but it's interesting to see, I'm assuming it's accurate, see it as an analytic, right, in a way that kind of confirms what I've felt most of the time that I've been here, to be honest with you.
Well, as I'm looking at it, Dan, if I just one more comment on that, when I'm looking at it, there are very few states that are as high as the state of Minnesota.
That's what's fascinating.
So we're looking at the Midwest. People
basically
love,
a lot of the
all
Midwest,
the Midwest,
except for Illinois. Illinois is more transient, but the rest of the Midwest, you're exactly
Wisconsin,
right. Michigan,
Iowa,
Ohio,
Michigan, it's all there.
I think that might be Pennsylvania too.
Yeah, it's Pennsylvania, Indiana,
All right, let's get to a couple of quick items here. So we have the Minnesota legislature has approved a new independent office to investigate fraud. The governor, you tell me, is expected to sign. Is it going anywhere? Will it be helpful, or is it under the classification of a lot of heat? So we got to give them something, and so now this will take the pressure off that we got this independent office, or is it just going to be another bureaucracy that doesn't really do what we're asking or want it to do?
Well, that's one of the fears that the critics of this have said in the past, that this is something that, what's it going to do? Is it going to duplicate, for example, the investigative powers of the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, the Minnesota BCA? Is this something that is just performative? It's just for show, because we have had so much that has happened in the last few years relating to fraud in programs in the state of Minnesota. This is a response to the people in charge in the state, and most of them Democrats over the last few years, did not recognize and did not do anything about the ballooning fraud beginning in COVID and past. Will it do anything? I say yes. It's going to be an independent office that will be able to investigate fraud. The one question that we still don't know is whether or not this new office and the new inspector general, if you will have law enforcement authorities. Can it issue subpoenas? Yeah. Can it indict people? Can it do this and this and this and this? What we now have in the state attorney general's office and in the BCA. So it is a step in the right direction. It's what people have wanted to do. The vote was overwhelming in favor of it, and Walz says he's going to sign it. So we've got one now. We'll see where it goes.
We have another. What was the other? Well, I think there's. It's an interesting one that you put on your list here, having to do with I don't know who. I think it was a KSTP who reported on this story regarding the achievement bonuses to staffers.
Yes,
who ultimately were overseeing programs that are is it rife with fraud or ripe with fraud?
It would be rife. I say R-I-F-E.
That's what I thought with fraud. So what's this all about?
Well, I'm an idiot. I did not know that the state of Minnesota gave out these kinds of bonuses, performance bonuses, achievement bonuses to many state employees. Now, in all my many, many decades in the journalism business, I never got a bonus. I mean, how many bonuses do you get? I don't know. So that's one thing that I was very interested. But KSTP reported, the reporter Kirsten Swanson, that beginning in 2020, the Housing Stabilization Program, which is now under intense investigation, bonuses went to 9 staffers when this thing was getting off the ground, of $1,000 to $2,000 each. And 3 months later, the program collapsed. Everybody's coming in. There's millions of dollars missing, fraudulently spent. This is one of the big deals here. These people were not involved, says KSTP, in the actual administration of the grants, giving people money.
Right.
But over the last 4 or 5 years, KSTP discovers in their investigation, hundreds of staffers across state government got these kinds of achievement bonuses for job well done, totaling $3.2 million. And so...
Well, that's chicken feed in the fraud business.
Well, it is. And, people... I am a big supporter of government can do good things. I think it's absolutely true. And maybe many of these people did good things in the programs they were administering, but it's just a bad look. It's a disconnect. It's tone deaf when you're giving bonuses like this to people involved in programs that are later found to be fraudulent.
They also, the Minnesota Senate, there's a violence interrupter scandal, right, that the Attorney General is investigating or is levying charges on? Is that correct?
Thinking that I've seen it all.
Yeah.
But this is $2.5 million that went to a violence interrupter group. If you don't know what that is, it is a program that inner cities have. They hire former gang members and other people who may have had brushes with the law to go out on the street and try to calm things down if it looks like it's going to be violent, things are going to get bad. And in fact, there is evidence showing that not just in our city, but in other cities, these kinds of programs can be effective. But in this case, the allegation is that they misused We Push for Peace, $6.5 million that went to the leaders of this group that spent the money instead of interrupting violence on the street of Minneapolis. They spent it on cars and vacations, child support payments, and to prop up
strip clubs.
Is it?
Well,
I'm looking here. You made that up, didn't you?
Yeah, I don't know that part.
And car dealerships. Yeah. I mean, so where are the guardrails on this? Once again, that's something, and it's not related to the state fraud programs that we've heard, but this is another one, and Attorney General Ellison is investigating.
Last item for today, the Senate has voted to ban masked ICE agents who operate in Minnesota. Give me a little more detail on this bill, and does it have any chance to do anything but die in the House?
Well, the bill has passed along party lines. Democrats voted yes, Republicans voted no. By a 1-vote margin, it passed. What it does is prohibit the ICE agents and the Border Patrol agents in Minneapolis and coming into the state, when all that stuff happened, bans them from wearing masks. We don't even know if it's legal for the state legislature to do it, but they did it anyway. You can't wear a mask, must have a judicial warrant. You cannot just go into a daycare or a school or a medical facility. You cannot do that, or a courtroom, all the things we saw in Metro Surge. This thing has been bugging me for months that suddenly, when we never had them before, suddenly the agents are wearing masks. And the reason, we are told, is that, well, people will find out who they are and they'll dox them. Well, you know what? Police officers do not wear masks. Judges don't. Jury members don't. State lawmakers do not wear masks, and they do things, and they have more death threats than any ICE agent.
And people acting on those
and
threats.
Act them, and they kill them. Yeah. And so I'm telling you, I mean, it's a step in the right direction. I think we have to come together and figure out a way where you can enforce immigration laws, but not with violence and tear gas and arrests and beating people up. And without a mask, and we don't know who they are.
We will see you either at Target Center or at the arena formerly known as the X Friday night.
Oh, man.
When both teams are playing for their playoff lives. Is that correct? Or are you going to go to both?
I can't afford the tickets.
My God.
I cannot afford it. You know.
See, you can't even say that with a straight face.
Well, what? You know what, Devereaux?
What's that?
If I had your money, I'd throw mine away.
You've got so much money that you
I would throw my money away if I had your money.
Like 25 years ago.
You know.
Pretty much. Plus,
all I can say.
Well, all right. Good to see you.
Cannot wait.
I enjoyed
for this weekend.
The beauty of this is you came in today with no idea we would spend as much time as we did on the history of exotic dance or strip clubs in the state of Minnesota, and you learned so much.
Did not know it, but I liked it.
That's the beauty of it. Thank you. We'll come back, wrap things up. prepare you for a little wild playoff hockey next.
Bumper to Bumper with Dan Barrero on the Fan.
From the 1-800